Dear audience, the topic of our today's management talk is about developing the entrepreneurship by creating high-potential environments through strong leadership. Based on my experience, economists have recognized that entrepreneurship is vital to stimulating economic growth, creating employment opportunities, and improving communities. According to a current report in The Economist, since the revolutions of the 1980s, governments of almost every ideological stripe have embraced entrepreneurship. The European Union, the United Nations and the World Bank have also become evangelists. As valuable assets to our society, entrepreneurs need different operational and organizational tools to support their business objectives. Especially in a global economy, where there is huge pressure to maximize output while minimizing costs. Constant demands to take on new challenges and quickly adapt to changing market demands are being placed on workers. However, during reading the Handbook of Positive Psychology, I learned that to create lean systems, most of the productive companies has had a negative effect mostly on the employer-employee relations. That results in many employees have lost hope for a better future. This loss of hope makes it difficult to create and sustain an environment that is conducive to maximum employee engagement, productivity and, consequently, long-term competitiveness. Hope plays a vital role and, as a cognitive process, it helps people plan their future and pursue goals. Hope has two important components: being proactive or exhibiting agency towards achieving set goals, and making plans or having pathways to achieve those goals. Having both agency and pathways produces motivation, the driving force towards making the objectives a reality. A sense of hope, having both agency and pathways, is quite different from merely being optimistic, which in this context is viewed as having a generally positive outlook on the future. But, it does not necessarily include the desire or the ability to do something to create that future. In a study conducted at the University of Copenhagen, Department of Human Behavior, found that while hope and optimism may contain unique properties of their own, like musical instruments that can be enjoyed on their own, they can create an even more powerful impact when they harmonize together. In other words, while having an optimistic view of the future is helpful, one's ability to proactively pursue pathways that lead to goal attainment is greatly enhanced by the possession of hope as well. Entrepreneurial ventures are typically characterized by risk, stress, and uncertainty. Employees in such organizations are particularly susceptible to loss of security and burnout. They often feel expendable and at risk of losing their future. Many see their work environment not as a place of hope, but as one of mundane misery. Having a sense of hope may be one of the key elements contributing to the success or failure of an entrepreneurial venture. In today's demanding work climate, providing entrepreneurs and their employees are advantageous, yet often overlooked, tools to succeed is critical. One such tool is the creation of an environment of high hope and optimal performance. Rosagi wrote in his article, How Triumphant Leaders Create the Future, teach them about hope and compassion. Because, whether deliberately or inadvertently, when leaders fail to communicate with their employees, owners, and directors, they lose faith, not only in them but in the future. The entrepreneur, who can create and sustain an environment of high hope in the enterprise, it may develop employees, those have greater resilience and adaptability in the face of rapid, ongoing change. Using the Hope Scale, a validated, scalable, and self-report instrument that measures the dispositional hope of adults in various domains. This scaling shows that high-prospective individuals are more productive and performing employees than the low-hope individuals. Such amazing employees are more likely to attain their goals, adapt easily, when needing to change from one goal to another, and select more difficult goals than their low-hope counterparts. These individuals also prefer difficult goals for their inherent challenges, divide big goals into achievable sub-goals, and focus on the process rather than the outcome. Individuals with high hope appear down to earth and likable, excel at learning, and have increased energy and focus when facing obstacles to their goals. When working towards success in reaching a goal, they look at the strategy they used versus their level of talent. Their lack of narcissistic behaviors allows them, when confronted with failure, to view mistakes as feedback from the environment to make different choices. In 2019, Deloitte conducted a meta-analysis that systematically reviewed the existing research on hope and performance at work, in order to determine the true relationship between hope and work outcomes. Their project involved the meta-analysis of 137 effect sizes across 45 primary studies based on 11,139 employees. It is found that the overall corrected mean effect sizes between hope, work performance and employee well-being were positive and statistically significant. In fact, one practical implication of their study, based on utility analysis, is that employees higher in hope were 31% more successful in their performance. In adding, they were 44% more likely to experience positive health and well-being. So, hope with compassion also have positive psychological capital, efficacy, resilience, optimism, and hope on employee attitudes, behaviors, and performance. A positive significant relationship was found between positive psychological capital, and employee attitudes, behaviors, and performance. According to KPMG, the top 10 companies, there are shared ownership of goals between management and employees. Managers care more about employee job performance, as well as employees' personal lives. Employees were given the opportunity to communicate across various levels of the corporation. There was a high emphasis placed on integrity, and there were very low employee turnover rates. The results of KPMG research indicated that operating units led by high hope managers had significantly better financial performance, employee retention and higher worker satisfaction than those of their low-hope counterparts. This exploratory study showed the value of hope in the workplace, and demonstrated the impact of positive leaders on performance. Based on my own experience, I have examined the levels of leadership hopefulness, or the Hope Index of top leadership teams in the healthcare industry, with the aim to determine if hope levels correlated with and predicted greater levels of employee satisfaction, engagement, and retention. My focus was more on the management board, chief executive officers, chief financial officers, chief operations officers, and chief people officers. Employee satisfaction, engagement, and retention are better to be gauged using an employee climate survey. I can also confirm the hypothesis that the leadership teams with high hope possess a higher level of employee engagement. I like to support it with a positive correlation between high hope leadership teams and employee satisfaction, together with the likelihood of employee retention. I am always keen to use different research methodology concepts on hope in the workplace. Considering the data of my research project, I have tried to explore hope with compassion in the world of entrepreneurs. The basis of my foundational research, I tried to correlate the organizations characterized by employee high hope, compassionate workplace with improved business performance. This empirical study of mine sought to answer what entrepreneurial behaviors lead to high hope organizations. Data was collected from 203 employees and 22 entrepreneurs in 14 firms, located in Utah, Arizona, and Texas, using both survey and interviews. All participants completed the Snyder-Hope scale and then responded to a 12 brief and analytical questions interview protocol developed for this study. Explaining a bit more about the method of scalability. The companies scoring one or more standard deviations below or above the total mean score on the scale were categorized into the low hope or high hope categories, respectively, based on the research and data analysis. 3 companies were placed in the low hope category and 2 in the high hope category. Only data obtained from the 75 people in these 2 categories underwent for further analysis. This study explored the behaviors that promote hope in entrepreneurial ventures. Each leader or entrepreneur required to meet the following definition. Person who has full or at least significant partial ownership of a privately held company, including franchises or cooperatively owned operations. Person is directly involved in the leadership of the organization, and person who interacts with the workers of the organization on a regular basis. A review of the interview data has led us to the identification of 6 organizational themes. Those are related to the similarities and differences in the behavior of entrepreneurs, specifically differentiating in high hope and low hope companies. The first theme is co-creation and co-ownership of the goals. The level of hope in an entrepreneurial organization is higher when the entrepreneur and employees co-create the goals and share responsibility for their achievement. The company with the highest hope score best illustrated this finding. The entrepreneur leading this organization meets annually with each employee to co-create goals that are aligned with the strategies of the organization and the individual's professional development plan. The management focus on creating goals that will stretch the employee but are realistic and achievable. Periodically, the entrepreneur checks in with the employee to discuss progress. Decisions are made about how to best reach these goals, and encouragement is offered by the entrepreneur to keep him or her motivated and on track. The entrepreneur also offers the assistance when necessary to help the employee succeed. The leader's involvement in the creation and achievement of their goals is considerably high, consistent, and proactive, with high awareness of the accomplishments of their teams. Conversely, employees in the low hope companies stated that leaders' involvement in the creation and achievement of their goals was extremely low or non-existent. One employer response to questions about the company's goal-setting process was, "Goals? What goals?" Entrepreneurs at companies in the low hope category were often not aware of their perceived poor performance in this area. The second important theme is the perception of flexibility to reach company goals. Employees and entrepreneurs in both the high hope and low hope companies reported the existence of a high degree of flexibility regarding the methods employed to reach work goals. The key difference was how the entrepreneurs perceived this flexibility. Those in the high hope companies believed that flexibility was a positive attribute that helped them reach their goals. In contrast, the entrepreneurs in the low hope firms felt they had overextended flexibility to their employees, and that this was an undesirable situation. The third theme concerns to the entrepreneur's physical presence and interaction with employees. Employees in both the high hope and low hope firms expressed the belief that an entrepreneur's commitment to success is demonstrated by his or her physical presence and frequent supportive interaction. In 2 of the 3 low hope companies, most employees made it clear that the entrepreneur's lack of visibility and failure to provide frequent supportive communication was interpreted as a lack of commitment to their success. The fourth theme concerns to the source of employee motivation. The perceived sources of motivation differed between employees in high-hope and low-hope companies. In high-hope companies, employees expressed that their level of motivation was influenced by their leaders' positivity, encouragement, and supportive presence. Conversely, in all three of the low-hope companies, employees stated that their motivation came from within themselves, but not from their leaders. The fifth theme is about the level of recognition and acknowledgement. There was wide variation regarding the levels of recognition and acknowledgement provided by the entrepreneur in the high-hope and low-hope organizations. In the high-hope firms, entrepreneurial awareness, recognition of employee, and goal achievement was perceived as frequent. Such acknowledgements took the shape of inquiring about the progress toward goals, offering suggestions for solving problems, and seeking teaching opportunities. Additional to that, high-hope employees glowingly reported receiving words of encouragement and positive reinforcement from their leaders when goals were met. Whereas in the low-hope organizations, a large number of employees felt they were not recognized for any achievements. Entrepreneurs in low-hope organizations were apathetic to goal setting, and hence did not recognize their employees' efforts when they were successful. The sixth theme concerning to my research is about the response to failure. The way an entrepreneur responds and compassionates when an employee fails to reach work goals has a significant impact on the employee's level of hope. High-hope employees stated that their leaders were the source of encouraging counsel when they failed. Failure was viewed as an opportunity for learning. Consequently, high-hope employees viewed their leaders with respect and admiration. Paradoxically, the employees in the low-hope companies reported that their leaders often fell short in acknowledging their successes, yet were quick to respond to failure with displays of frustration and anger. For example, employees expected failure to result in write-ups, warnings, and terminations. Low-hope employees also tended to view the entrepreneurs in their companies with animosity. So, I will conclude my today's management talk with 3 key takeaways for you. This research project was an exploration of the behaviors that create hope in the world of entrepreneurs. First point is, the creation of a high-hope organization is intimidating, because of the challenge to entrepreneurs to be physically present on site. Creating a high-hope organization requires an approach to business that is characterized by the consistent, physical presence of a leader. These practices often increase efficiency and productivity, thus far diminish motivation and opportunities for direct interaction with employees. The second point is about the goal achievement, which is more likely when the entrepreneur offers personalized, supportive, and consistent interaction. Entrepreneurs in high-hope organizations interact with employees in ways that differ radically from those in their low-hope counterparts. In the high-hope companies, both leaders and employees spoke enthusiastically about the highly constructive process of jointly setting and being accountable for goals. They also commented positively on the types of acknowledgements and recognition given. Last but not least, insights can be gained when entrepreneurs respond constructively to an employee's failure to reach goals. Both categories of entrepreneurs respond in highly predictable, but opposite ways to failure. The responses of leaders in the high-hope organizations are captured in the phrase "failing forward." In such cases, a mistake or failure to meet work goals is treated by the leader as a reason to examine a work process, to seek ways of avoiding such errors in the future, to discover ways in which the process might be improved, and to share lessons learned with everyone in the firm who could profit from such insights. So, my recommendation to all the entrepreneurs, management leaders or managers is, first of all, try to be physically present and connect yourself with your people. Please try to establish a formal and collaborative goal-setting process with your employees. It helps in shared co-ownership of goals, to both leaders and employees, to stay focused on goal accomplishment and increases accountability. Please communicate with your employees on a proactive and ongoing basis. It can help you to create a motivational high-hope environment by engaging in real-time, candid communications with employees that encourage flexible methods to solve problems and learning from mistakes. In the end, my question to you is: which behaviors will ensure that the difference is positive? Hope you enjoy and learned from our management talk. Please share with us your feedback and the learnings in the comments section. Please subscribe to our channel, Audiobooks Junkie. Thanks a lot.